Put the spotlight on the RPI MPC, which is underway right now. The outcome, of course, will come tomorrow, but let's take a look into what the street is expecting. And for just that, Tanvi Gupta Jain, the Chief India Economist at UBS Securities, is joining us on the show. Tanvi, hi, good to be speaking with you. Thanks so much for making time. Well, a rate cut or a rate action clearly is not on the cards for tomorrow, but what else are you expecting? What are the other big things you're watching out for?
I would say at this point, election results are on everyone's mind. And looking at India's Goldilocks scenario, plus I think the focus will be on the upcoming budget announcement. I would say at this point, MPC will shy away to change either the policy rates or stance at this juncture. So I would say most of the focus will be retained. A lot of focus will be on the upcoming budget and the policy henceforth, rather than expecting really meaningful in on Friday's policy. So we actually have a status quo in rates and stance at this juncture. Even though we do expect a shallow rate cut easing of 50 basis point, but that too from early next year. So we really don't have any rate cut expectation for this calendar year 2024.
No rate cut expected this time in 2024, Tanvi. But, like you're highlighting, everyone's watching out for those election results, how those reforms will change, or, the focus maybe of the government could change on certain other sectors, social spending. How do you see that in terms of the policy then moving forward? Any change that we could expect, maybe not on Friday, but even next time, and the expectation there that one could watch out for?
So clearly, I think the political outcome was suggesting that there is kind of a weak sentiment at the lower end of the income pyramid. And, whether we accept it or not, but India has seen a K-shaped consumption recovery post the pandemic. So most of the high frequency data that we track are clearly indicating that affluent premium segment demand in India has been doing well, but demand for entry level mass market goods has remained muted. So maybe it is hinting you at some point that the income levels at the bottom end of the pyramid, which I think were the most affected, uh, their income levels have not gained to the level where they start spending again. So I would say from a policy choice perspective, which I think will be one of the biggest focus for investors, will be whether the government, while adhering to the fiscal consolidation roadmap, actually increase political spending or politics spending, depending upon which sectors of the economy the focus will be. So we are highlighting two sectors. One is we still see, irrespective of the election outcome, that the capex trust will continue. We did see in the interim budget there was a 17% growth in central government capex spending. So I don't see that numbers to be brought down. However, that bonanza that government got from the RBI in terms of higher dividend transfer, we think that that fiscal leeway could be used to increase the populist spending to support consumption, especially for the lower income strata. Stuff like a cash transfer, a higher outlay for affordable housing, a higher outlay for rural spending, some kind of income tax rationalization are the things which I would keep a close tab on.
When you say that there could be some income tax rationalization, we could all clearly do with that. But it might be very naive and simpler for me to ask that, Tanvi, but help me understand. If the social spending does go up, there could be some cash transfers or benefits, etc. as well. What happens to the inflation estimates then? Wouldn't it inch up?
Okay, a very, very valid question. So if you have seen India's economic growth over the past 12 months, you would have realized that economic growth was resilient with macro risk under control. That's why we were all saying a Goldilocks scenario for India. Now, if there is a populist bias, clearly it would widen the macro stability risk, especially inflation. Fiscal deficit may not narrow as much as what we had been expecting, and there could also be widening in the current account deficit. So for this year, I think inflation has been very, very well behaved. We are expecting a 4.5% inflation for the full year, but I would say in September quarter, my inflation forecasts are actually coming somewhere around 3.5%, 4%, so even lower than where RBI is highlighting. Plus, hopefully the monsoons will be better this year, so that also bodes well for the food inflation. So I would say most of the populist spending risk, widening macro stability concerns will show up not in this year's number, but they will begin to show up in case there is a massive populist spending only in FY26. In that scenario, I would say there could be a 50 basis point upside to my inflation forecast, but that will show up after 12 months, not something that I'm expecting immediately to start showing up in numbers.
Right, Tanvi, just a question that you were talking about, that you are not expecting a rate cut this time or this year in 2024. But while there are expectations that Fed is going to be cutting the rate, maybe at least from October onwards, and in terms of commentary that we are understanding, then would that be a possibility? If Fed cuts rate in October, then would RBI follow suit? Because we were expecting them to come with a rate cut earlier than the Fed. So, any change that has happened in the stance for you because of any other reason, or your expectation was 2024 no rate cut?
So one more interesting thing which I think the market should definitely look at is that the RBI has been tightening the regulatory norms to bring down unsecured loan growth. It was growing at 20-25%, or it is growing at 17%. And we have also seen regulatory tightening for NBFCs. At a time when you're giving a message that I'm not very happy with a lot of bank credit incremental going towards consumption, and I'm trying to bring it down because I want to ensure that there are no financial stability risk. And plus your macro is so strong that then there is no need for a rate cut. So when I look at the Fed rate versus the repo rate, the gap is the lowest in 20 years. So even if Fed begins to cut, and UBS expectation is for the Fed's rate cut to begin from September, we do have a 50 basis point rate cut expectation for this calendar year 2024. I don't see RBI is in any hurry to follow suit. Yes, we do expect a shallow easing cycle if the global monetary easing is happening, but they can obviously take some more time to begin that phase. Even if you look at the data, the RBI has clearly mentioned that they are looking at a much higher potential growth for India than what they were estimating earlier. So the real rate, which normally RBI came out with a report saying should be somewhere between the range of 75 to 125 basis point, we think that the real rates in this cycle has to be at least 150 basis point if we want to sustain a potential growth, which is somewhere around 6.5 to 7%. So we will believe that the room for rate cut for India will be limited unless the growth or inflation surprises on the downside.
Okay, then hoping that we see those surprises coming on the growth and inflation side. But thank you so much, Tanvi, for joining in with us this afternoon, talking to us about the expectations in terms of rate cuts, not only for tomorrow's discussion in terms of the RBI policy meet, but even for the year. Tanvi is not expecting much in terms of a rate cut this time. Thank you so much, Tanvi, for joining in with us.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.